up in New York was a little tough, you know what I'm saying? Especially it was just me, my mom, my sister, and we had all just came from Jamaica. I'm Jamaican, by the way, you know what I'm saying? I know you guys, the beach is fantastic, so check it out. I'm Jamaican, but you know, coming from, my mom and my sister coming from Jamaica, and it was just them two, and you know, trying to get everything settled in New York. And then I came along eventually. My sister's 13 years older than me. So it was a little difficult growing up, you know what I'm saying, going to middle school and high school and stuff like that. So I wanted to do the best that I could so my mom wouldn't have to pay for anything when I got to college. So I knew that basketball was kind of a way out, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I worked hard, learned work ethic, and I ended up getting a scholarship to go to Coppin State University in Baltimore. Thank you, appreciate it. Ended up getting a scholarship to go to Coppin State University in Baltimore, and that was probably one of the happiest days in my life. You know, just to be able to like get a scholarship, my mom doesn't have to worry about taking out loans and all those type of things. So that was a dope experience for me. You know what I'm saying? So I did my schooling there. I studied criminal justice. So I actually have 2 degrees. I have a degree in sports management, and I have a degree also in criminal justice. Appreciate it. So I did my basketball there, and at the end of my basketball season, you know, this is like when you start talking to agents and about to go pro. And so this was like a big decision for me. In my first year out of school, I didn't get to play basketball. My first agent did me wrong, he messed me up, and I just messed up my whole first year of playing basketball. So that made me really depressed. I've never been in that state before where I couldn't play basketball because it was kind of everything for me, you know what I'm saying? So it put me in a bad headspace. So I was really depressed. I was like gaining weight because my thing is I eat when I'm coping with something. So I was depressed, you know, and it was just like it was tough for me. And it was tough for my mom to watch me go through that because I just, you know, went to college. I got my scholarship. I played basketball. So that put me in a totally bad headspace. And then on top of that, I actually had a son my senior year in college. So having that baby boy and not being able to play the game I love, and this is providing. This is going to provide for my family. It's going to provide for my son. It's going to provide for my mom. And it was tough. So I was in a negative headspace, and it took a while. It took a while for me to get through that. It took about a few months for me to really just pick myself up and just basically start over. You know, when you get in that headspace, you kind of have to literally just start over from scratch. And at that point, everything I did was positive. I thought positive. I spoke positive. I ate positive. You know, everything for me at that point was just positive. It was just positive thinking all the way around, which literally just took me from the bottom to the top. And not even with like financially. It was just my spirits went from the bottom to the top. And that took me so far. It took me so far from just all that negative thinking because it keeps you down. It keeps you down through everything. Like, it could be something this small, and the more negative you think, it becomes this big. It just snowballs. It continues to snowball, and it's a snowball effect. You know, just like in basketball, when we create a turnover, it's like you want to stop it right there at that one turnover because you don't want that team to get going and get that rhythm. And negativity, it travels fast. It travels faster than positivity. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I made sure that from that point on, everything I did was positive. Towards everybody, towards my goals, towards my children, towards my mom. Everything was just a positive mindset. Even if it wasn't the best situation. But it just turned out to be the best situation because the positivity took it from one place to another. So, with that being said, I actually ended up getting a job. I ended up getting a basketball job, and I went to the NBA D-League, I played there, and then the next year I actually came to Canada as my first year in Brampton. So I got to a point where I came to a crossroads where I didn't know if I wanted to play basketball anymore, if I just wanted to stay home and just, find something to do. And my first day on my job, I was actually a court clerk, and for the biggest district attorney's office in New York City. So I was a paralegal and a court clerk there. And my first day on the job, I was on my way there in a taxi, and this guy next to me, he was like, "Man, you're tall." He was like, "You don't play any sports?" I'm like, "Yeah, actually, I just finished playing basketball. I played for like a few years. I'm trying to like figure it out right now, what I want to do." So he says to me like, "Are you hurt?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Are you hurt?" I'm like, "No." He's like, is there like an emergency at home? Like, what's going on? Like, why would you just stop? And I'm like, honestly, like, I don't know. Like, I just was in that headspace where, and he told me, he was just like, use what you have until you can't use it anymore. And that was the first day on the job. I didn't know this guy from a hole in the wall, from a can of paint. I didn't know him at all, And he basically like just told me, like, use what you have for as long as you can. And I really took that to heart. And I wanted to go back and play basketball right then and there. But I just started my job, so I couldn't. But so I did 6 months at the job, and it was probably the best 6 months of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, without basketball, just because I got to experience something different. I got to experience a 9 to 5, which I don't know how any of you guys do. That waking up at 6:30, that's a long time. But I got to experience that. I got to experience what my mom did for so long, like working 7 days and having to get up every day and every morning and make sure that I was ready to go to school. And I wasn't making sure anybody was ready, because my son, I have a daughter now as well, but they actually live in Baltimore, Maryland. So, but I got to experience that, and it was really like, I loved it. I loved the experience, but I knew it wasn't for me at that point in time. I knew that it wasn't for me, but I'm glad that I got the experience. That experience, you know what I'm saying, to put on my resume. Like, it was just good. It was just like a life-changing moment for me. And then after that, I actually came, my first year after that was playing here for KW. And when I first got here, it was kind of up and down. Like, I had just took a year off, so I was trying to get my body back into it. So I was back in that headspace where it was just like, it was negative. Like, oh, you don't know if you could do this anymore. Oh, you don't know. And I remembered something. I remember that guy telling me, use what I can for as long as I can. And I just started my positive thinking. I started eating positive, speaking positive to everybody. And that last season was probably the best season of my basketball career that I've had since playing pro. Wow. Probably the best season. And, for me, that just all came from being positive. And when you're in that headspace and you feel like things aren't going your way, just always be positive, like, no matter what. And always get it out. Always get it out. Talk to somebody where it's non-judgmental. Non-judgmental. Just always get it out. Always speak. But always speak positivity into your life. Speak positivity into your environment, because it will always come back to you. You speak it into the universe, it will always come back. So that's just my, what I'm sharing with you guys. It's just, positivity works. It works all the way around. It works across the board. And that's me. My name is Akeem Ellis. So